few weeks while she recovered. Due to space in my 2-bedroom apartment, I accepted. 2 weeks became 2 months, then 3. Amanda visited occasionally but struggled to find work and housing. To authorize and help Mary, the mentoring program coordinator encouraged me to become a foster parent. Mary moved in 6 months after I finished home studies and fostered her. Amanda seeks stability. Right now, we get along. Almost daily, Mary was visited and called. Never tried to replace Amanda. I told Mary her mother wanted her home. Amanda and I had a long conversation 5 years ago when Mary was 12 and I was 24. She had a steady income but her home was unstable, and she worried about removing Mary from the school where she had finally found success. We decided I should defend Mary's legal rights. Amanda battled this decision. Through tears I watched her sign the paperwork, because she thought her daughter would benefit. A new normal emerged. Mary debated, gained friends, and did well in school. Amanda visits her weekends and calls often. I safeguarded their relationship. Amanda contacted me 2 years later. She struggled to care for her kid Ethan while working full-time. She wanted me to foster him so the siblings could be together. After considering it, I took 2-year-old Ethan home. Using accountant savings, I moved us to a 3-bedroom property with a yard. Work introduced me to 31-male Kevin last year. After months, he got a job in another state, and we split up. We broke up without my knowing I was pregnant. I'm 25 weeks pregnant with my first. My older sister Emily, 35 female, has been trying to conceive with her husband for 9 years without success. After several fertility treatments, each failure is awful. Emily always envisioned parenthood. She dreamed of it since infancy. She helped Mary move in with me by bringing clothes and toys and taking her on weekend outings. She welcomed Ethan into our family, but her visits decreased. She cited her job schedule, but I think the kids showed her what she needed. I told my family 3 weeks ago I was pregnant. My parents loved their new grandson. Emily offered a generic congratulations before switching topics. Emily stopped returning my calls and texts after that call. Last week my mother hosted Sunday supper for us. I went alone because a friend watched Mary and Ethan. The meal was filled with pregnancy queries from my folks. Did I feel good? Did I consider names? Was the nursery ready? Emily stared at me coldly when the baby was mentioned before leaving. After supper, Emily questioned me why I took 2 foster kids when I could have real kids. Table silence. Amanda got therapy. I became a foster parent to stabilize Mary. We decided permanent guardianship was best, and Ethan moved in with me to keep the siblings together. I hardened Emily's face with every word. She said I forced my instant family on her after years of trying. She argued that I had 2 children without trying to be a mother, and now I was carelessly having a biological child. The worst part was when she said it was cruel, that I took 2 foster children who could have gone to parents who deserved them more since they couldn't have children. Her comments physically shook me. My foster kids weren't astonished to be sent to the best couple, but I felt her pain. Their mother asked me to help her house the kids safely. I apologized for her issues, but I wouldn't apologize for taking in poor children. Mom asked me to go after quietly watching this encounter. I took my stuff without saying anything. Mom called the next day. She said my hostility to Emily was unnecessary given her situation. My sister was wounded and suggested I apologize. Emily received a text apologizing for my harsh comments but not the content. I respected her journey and suffering, but I wouldn't take responsibility or let her imply my relationship with Mary and Ethan snatched children from better parents. Emily ignored my text. My mother called again to say I was exacerbating things by doubling down instead of apologizing. I'm in my kitchen watching Mary and Ethan build a block tower, wondering if I did something wrong. Mary is constantly asking when we'll visit Grandma and Grandpa again, and I'm stumped. I've always tried to do what's best for these kids, but I worry if my family would accept our unique parenting style. Was my effort excessive? Should I have cared for Emily more? Is my opinion correct? Update 1. My family's issues have grown 2 weeks after the dinner catastrophe. First, thanks to everyone who replied to my initial post. Your support confirmed my right to defend my children and family. Many of you had relatives who viewed foster care selfishly, which helped me feel less alone. After that text, Emily blocked my number and erased me from all her social media accounts without responding. Though expected, it's startling. My mother was supposed to visit 2 days before my 28th week anatomy scan last week. She canceled via phone. She stated Emily was too upset to hear my name and my mother didn't want to help me at the scan. She recommended that I reschedule after things calmed down. No rescheduling. Instead, I took Ethan to the appointment. The clinic nurses loved him, and he read picture books while the ultrasound technician conducted it. Watching him joyfully point at the TV when the baby moved made my mother and sister's absence less noticeable. After the visit, Mom texted to ask how it went and if I learned the baby's sex. Got the message but didn't respond. Say what? That a child may replace her at the clinic? That a stranger cared more about my pregnancy than my family? Dad called 4 days ago. His call surprised me because he's impartial on family issues. After my mother told him about skipping the anatomy scan, he checked on me. He occasionally asked questions but mostly let me tell about what happened since supper. After I finished, he said something shocking. Emily and my mother were wrong, he thought. He added, providing a home for children who needed one was never something to apologize for. And while he understood Emily's pain, she had no right to make me feel guilty for my choices or my pregnancy. He volunteered to stay with me after the baby was delivered with his new wife, Susan. He proposed they help with Mary and Ethan for 2 weeks while I healed, even though they lived 3 hours away. I needed postpartum assistance after my mother volunteered for this position. I heard from Emily's husband Tom yesterday. After our fight and therapy, he reported Emily was inconsolable. No apology was requested. He admitted Emily's dinner remarks were unacceptable. He wanted me to know she was getting help and hoped we could reconcile. He was appreciated and I was delighted Emily was getting therapy. Reconciliation must value my 3 children and acknowledge that Mary and Ethan are youngsters who require safety and stability, not consolation trinkets for infertile parents. After sending that communication, I sat down with Mary to explain her aunt and grandmother's predicament in age-appropriate terms. To digest disagreements, grown-ups need time apart, I told her. I assure her it had nothing to do with her or Ethan, and that I prioritized our family, including the new baby. Mary thoughtfully asked her aunt why the baby bothered her. I stressed that seeing others get what they want can make individuals angry. She agreed, adding she felt the same when her friend brought her the sneakers she wanted for her birthday, but her mom, Amanda, couldn't afford them. I occasionally admire 14-year-old wisdom. I accepted my father's postpartum aid via SMS this morning. Next, I updated Amanda by phone. She calls Mary twice a week and visits monthly. Her health is good. She was promoted at work and moved into her apartment over a year ago. She worried about the family tension and volunteered to keep both kids for a weekend before the baby arrived so I could prepare. My mother's loyalty to Emily over a milestone and my pregnancy still affects me. I focus on people who've supported me and my kids instead of her. The child is male. All scan tests were normal. Mary is pleased to have another brother. First gift I gave her when she moved in, she gave him a plush elephant. Ethan doesn't comprehend, but he pats my belly and says, "Baby," smiling. I haven't named the baby. Due to my busy schedule, it keeps sliding off. I have 12 weeks to decide, so suggestions are welcome. Thank you again for helping. It means more than you realize. Update 2. 3 months have gone since my last update, and the baby is 3 weeks old. Baby life comes first, but much has happened and I want to update. Birth first. Alex, 7 pounds 2 ounces, was born 2 weeks early. Work was easy, but tiresome. 14-hour runtime. My father and Susan arrived almost presciently the day before I gave birth. While I was in the hospital, they brought Mary and Ethan to visit Alex and me. Mary's reaction to her new sibling was beautiful. Her thorough treatment of him showed her wonder and pride. Ethan liked the hospital bed controls better than the baby, but he named Alex Tiny and caressed his head. Amanda took handmade baby blankets to the hospital. She sat with me when Mary showed her the baby and later said she was proud of Mary's youth. This time together via our unique family bonds is precious. My sister and mother's health. My mother asked which hospital after hearing I was in labor. After Alex was born, I replied with his birth stats and a photo. When could she visit? I told her I wasn't ready for guests beyond immediate support after talking to my father. I received many texts about my harshness and separating her from her grandson. She stated I was punishing her for supporting Emily and that a baby should unite the family. I needed time to recover without stress, so my father told her to depart. Alex received a large present a week after hospitalization. A costly bassinet and baby clothing were inside. Tom and Emily signed the card. Only names, no messages. So I called Tom to thank them for the gifts. He was astonished by my message and said Emily suggested the bassinet. He hesitated before saying she wasn't ready to talk. I said I appreciated the offer and the door was open for her to discuss. Mom unexpectedly visited my house 2 days later. Ethan was at playgroup, Mary was at school, and my father and Susan went grocery shopping while I was alone with a newborn. She kept ringing the doorbell, waking Alex, who had fallen asleep after eating. She pushed by me into the house and went to the living room bassinet when I opened the door. She grabbed Alex before I could stop her, raving about meeting her grandson. I felt violated by her intervention and didn't want to upset the baby. I told her to sit down and that while I was glad she wanted to meet Alex, entering unannounced was wrong. I asked her to follow my boundaries if she wanted to join us. Should I not have hidden the infant from the family, she wouldn't need such measures. Mother's mood changed once Father and Susan returned. Her planned visit included giving me the baby. After witnessing my face, my father advised my mother to leave. After crying, she called to say I was turning everyone against her. Emily sent me a long email the next day. Her therapist advised her to write, but not communicate her feelings. She sent it anyway. She apologized and accused me, saying her dinner words were hurtful and that my ease at having children was a personal attack on her suffering. The final paragraph stated that she and Tom were authorized as foster parents and anticipated their first placement next month. She claimed that her therapist helped her realize her resentment at me was unwarranted and that foster care will heal her. She said she wasn't ready to see me or the baby, but wished to reconcile. Good luck with her first placement, and congrats on foster parent permission. I gave her some guidance from my early fostering days and offered to talk when she was ready. No reply. My dad and Susan stayed 3 weeks longer than intended. Their help was crucial. They maintained Mary and Ethan's schedules, kept the house running well, and gave me quiet time between feedings. I was prepared for their departure. Amanda comes twice a month. She offered to care for Mary and Ethan for a week in the summer so I could focus on the baby. Mary is excited about this plan since Amanda moved to a poolside apartment complex. Getting used to 3 kids. Watching Mary read to her boys while they listen intently makes night feedings worthwhile. Ethan calls himself Mommy's helper and brings me diapers. While my mother and sister's issue remains unresolved, I've found peace in focusing on our family in this house. My motherhood journey wasn't what I expected, but I wouldn't alter it for my 3 kids. Update 3. Alex, now a healthy, smart 9-month-old, has started crawling and getting into everything since my previous report 6 months ago. Though busy, my 3 kids and I have family routines. Emily and I are carefully repairing our relationship, which is the biggest news. I was texted 3 months ago to meet for coffee alone. I had Amanda watch the kids. She's my rock and met Emily at a cafe between our homes. Weather and haircut conversation dominated the first 10 minutes, making them awkward. She then showed me her phone photo of Marcus, her first foster child. Discussing Marcus affected Emily's face. She described his dinosaur fascination, reading difficulties and nightly monster check under the bed. She detailed his nightmares, initial mistrust, social worker and biological family meetings, and other issues. Something she said showed her progress. Missed it. Fostering was supposed to fill my void. It's not about me. Marcus assists his mother till she can. I nodded, grateful for her way of understanding. She said Marcus's mother was sober and working to reconcile in a year. Emily shakily replied she would miss Marcus when he went home but supported reunion. She apologized. She denied that I stole children from deserving parents, or that fostering gave her comfort. She said her immune system had consumed her, preventing her from looking beyond her loss. Fostering Marcus showed her that systemic children don't solve adult issues. While their families heal, they need safe temporary lodging. I accepted her apology and apologized for my harsh statements during our fight. We spent the next hour talking about nighttime anxieties, reaching a child with walls, and building biological family relationships. We became sisters after years of hatred. Emily wanted to see Alex, Mary, and Ethan before leaving. Marcus played in the park with us the following weekend. The kids clicked instantly. Mary directed the smaller boys, and Ethan appreciated Marcus's dinosaur knowledge. After seeing only one baby photo, Emily hugged Alex, amazed with his progress. Our family meets monthly. Relationship repair continues. When old hurts return, tension rises, but we continue. My mother-daughter bond is tougher to repair. After her unexpected visit, I wrote her a letter setting clear boundaries. No surprise visits, no criticizing my parenting or family structure. I made it clear she had to respect these boundaries to be with us. No response after 2 months. Card with a little letter arrived in the mail. I miss my grandchild. Willing to listen. Try brief supervised visits. She hesitated, but she relaxed when she saw I wasn't punishing her, just setting boundaries. Mary's school play last month featured my mother. She hugged and told Mary she was proud later. Later that night she pulled me aside and apologized for favoring her daughters. Her revelation of what mattered came from seeing all 3 children prosper under my care. Our relationship isn't ideal but improving. Amanda stays with us. She brought her new beau to dinner at our house last month. Seeing her introduce him to Mary and Ethan was powerful. She encouraged my involvement in their lives and was confident in motherhood. This adventure showed me that family is about cooperation, not competition. Mary turned 16 last week. She requested calm conversation while we prepared her birthday supper. After thinking, she wanted to adopt us. We considered this over the years, knowing she could decide when she was ready. To hear her say she was ready made me cry. The legal process starts next month. Ethan, 4, loves his big sister and entertains Alex. Alex makes Ethan laugh most. Emily and Tom are willing to foster their second child, whose mother needs time to recover. Emily called me for nursery advice and we spent hours discussing the emotional and practical aspects of fostering a newborn. Marcus thrives under their care and will return next spring. Our journey has been surprising. When I started mentoring 7 years ago, I never imagined 3 motherhoods, an irreversible family breakup, and a deeper knowledge of family. Though hard, watching my children grow up with a biological and chosen family is worth it. Go to the next story. Story 2. My parents claim my sister's marriage was damaged by my advice. Months later, a horrible secret affects everything. I'm 34F and have endured months of family issues causing insomnia. Focusing on my younger sister Ella, 29F, her arranged husband Richard, 31M, and their 2 children, Jill, 7F, and Jack, 4MM. Ella met Richard in college. Opposites attract. Although Ella was organized, Richard was more casual. Their balance made things seem fine for a time. They married after college and had Jill a year later. Richard was overjoyed with Jill's birth. He talked of teaching her while watching her sleep for hours. Richard was overjoyed when Jack was born 3 years later. He'd always wanted a son and was delighted to take Jack fishing and camping. However, changes occurred. Richard was often absent, because his new job required more travel. Ella left with 2 young children and a full-time job. This stresses their connection. Ella lloró llamándome el año pasado. She found affair hints on Richard's phone. He denied it, but admitted to feeling a connection with a co-worker when challenged. He maintained nothing happened but trust suffered. After months of counseling, nothing worked. Richard was defensive and tough, Ella said. 8 months ago, they parted. They let Richard watch the kids every other weekend and review after 6 months. Early on, things went well. Richard will pick up and drop off the kids Friday and Sunday nights. Finally, he apologized. He worked late on a weekend. Next, he was unwell. He took the kids once a month max. I have 8-year-old twins Emma and Olivia, and 9-year-old Noah. Jill and Jack got along with their relatives, so I took them when Richard canceled. I chose relatives above father disappointment for kids. Richard took advantage. He called me immediately to ask if I could take the kids on his weekend, saying, "Your place is usually better." Furious, but I didn't want to disappoint the kids. I told Richard repeatedly. I suggested he help his kids. His excuses were common. Work, illness, or unavoidable plans stopped him from canceling. Spending time with his kids seemed optional. I have many terrible memories of this. My ex-husband Brian got worse after our divorce. He'd cancel at the last minute, leaving me scrambling for childcare. It took me a while to realize his actions hurt our kids and me. It finished last month. Even on his weekend, Richard asked me to take the kids on Friday afternoon. His explanation now: forgot his concert tickets. I took the kids despite my fury. Ella looked exhausted when she picked them up Sunday. She complained about Richard's dependability. She couldn't plan weekends since she didn't know if he'd take the kids. My Brian experience made me sympathize with her. I changed our custody arrangement so Brian could only get the kids when he asked. I mentioned how easier it was not to rely on him following a schedule and how my kids were happier not being disappointed. Ella took it seriously. She thanked me for listening and left with the kids. I thought that was it, but she notified Richard about changing their agreement. Richard raged at me the next day. He said I was trying to turn Ella against him and kidnap his kids. Shocked. None told Ella what to do. Shared experience. Richard didn't listen when I explained. Yelled at me for being a rotten sister and to mind my own business. I was fed up and snapped at him. If he wasn't inconsistent, Ella wouldn't change. My family's divided. My family agrees with Richard that I shouldn't have interfered. Richard has always been special because he helped Dad renovate their kitchen a few years ago. My brother likes my performance. He never liked Richard after he missed his birthday 2 years in a row. Our parents are urging Ella to stay still after I opened her eyes. They say Richard is struggling and needs help, not criticism. I worry about overstepping. Should I have kept silent about my experience? Am I responsible for accidentally provoking family strife? All this reminds me of Jill and Jack. Jill is old enough to know her dad cancels, and I've seen her disappointment. Jack is too little to comprehend.